Perfect. G'day guys, I'm Danny Redbard.
And I'm Brooke Lucas.
We've begun this course to speak to young men predominantly, because we've been young men, and as Brooke was saying just before, we're still going through adolescence, right? And that's a bit of a joke and a bit of a laugh, because we've definitely reached manhood. I'm 29 years old. How old are you, Brooke? Over that.
It's like, but I think the thing is it's like I'm always going to be that little boy, but the thing is it's like I'm always learning. But I'd like to see, what I'm passionate about is that young men don't go through the same struggles as what I did when I was a young man. Okay?
So that's the reason, that's the why we're doing this, because I wish I had guidance for what I went through puberty. Holy hell. And that's it, pure and simple.
That's it.
Wow.
So, yeah, and so now, we've been through all that, but what we've done is in our lifetimes now, we've learned a lot of things about different ways of being, and especially in the last 10 years for me, different ways of being. I've got a 30-year-old son, a couple of daughters as well, so I've been through that as well. Got a stepson who's 16, so going through that again, which is different for me as well. And then, so all the things that I've learnt from there, if I can support some younger men not to have to go through the struggles by themselves and understand they can do it differently, and then also support the parents in understanding what a young man goes through. And so that's why Danny and I are here, and we're going to teach a whole lot of different things. We're going to explain some of the things that go on within your body and how you can show up in life, and how you can interact with other people whilst all this is going on.
And that it's all okay. And one of the main pieces here, as a first step, even if you just watch this video, I'd say just feel and be okay with everything that's going on in your body. And let's not make anything right or wrong. Everything just is what it is.
If we can really come to that place of understanding that it isn't right or wrong, it's only our perception and someone else's perception of what's right or wrong. There is rules and boundaries and stuff like that within life that we have to live in, but let's start to understand what's actually true for us and what's right for us, so that we can make good choices for ourselves, and in that way be in better relation with everybody around us. And when I say relation, I mean, have a nice relationship with your mum and dad, whatever that looks like, and your brothers and sisters and your friends, and be able to hold yourself in a good way so that you don't end up getting yourself into a place of overwhelm or any of that. And if you're a young man going through this and your testosterone levels have just changed completely, and you don't understand why you're mad and why you get a boner and why you just want to fight people, and these are all natural things to do, right? And society's made them all wrong at the moment, but realistically, when you're in those places, it's how do you know that that's okay and that's normal, and then we go through that, and we just got to be understanding of it, know that it'll pass in each moment if we let it, and come back home. We can teach you about that later as well, and just calm your nervous system down.
So who are we, Brooke? Who are you, and what do you do?
So what I do lots of different things. I facilitate men's work, women's work, relationship weekends.
How long have you been doing that?
About 6 years now.
Yeah. How many circles do you reckon you've sat in?
Men's circles probably 400 or 500. Women's circles probably 50 or 60. Couple circles 50 or 60. Oh, probably more than that now. 100, maybe. Something like that, a lot.
And when we say sitting in circle, we mean sitting out, talking about these kind of things, being vulnerable about what's present and alive for us, letting go of any shames or any fears. Like, this is literally couples sitting down, talking about the ins and outs of their relationship, and that it's going to break up, for instance. And Brooke's facilitated either those relationships to break up or to stay together, what needs to happen to stay together. And see, none of this is right or wrong. Like, staying together, not right, not wrong. Being apart, not right, not wrong, just is what it is. And what's of the most importance for me to live my heavenly life? What's of the most importance for Brooke to live his heavenly life? What's the most important step for you to take, for you to live your most heavenly life that you choose now? And so that's what we do when we sit in circles. So you will hear us referencing circle, and we've explained a lot of these practices to men, and men go, oh my God, I wish I was taught that in school. So men that you see out there and around, a lot of them need to know this. Yeah. So when you're talking to your parents about it, be aware that.
Be nice to them. Don't tell them they're wrong, okay? Just be okay. Just go, hey, I've learned this new thing. Can I share it with you? And then go from there. And then that way that you can, help, and they can go, and they might not accept it at the start, and that's okay as well. Let's look at just doing it gently. But it's really like we only know what we know because of what we got taught, and if our parents are teaching us what they learnt and they didn't learn it in a good way or have someone with the knowledge to help them learn a different way, then we're just going to keep showing up the same, and we need to change that so that this is one of the things that I'm really passionate about in doing this work for men. I don't really do it for the men that are there doing it. I'm doing it so that they don't bestow those beliefs and patterns onto their children, which would be you guys that we're talking to now, and you can live in a different way, and we don't have to go through all the things that I went through with the stuff that goes on in the world, and even in that separation and everything with families, it's like, how can we do that in a good way? How can we not make it wrong that someone's not in the same place they were 20 years ago and they want to be and do something else, because we all grow and change in stages in our lives. So we might talk a little bit about that later. What stages you go through as a young man, and what's the things that are going to drive you, who your peers are going to be, who you're going to learn off, and who's going to influence your life. There are a lot of things that I teach to men, and when they get that, as they get older, all of a sudden they're like, oh, that all makes sense to me now. Whereas if we can start to let you understand what some of the things you might go through, and that it's normal, and that you're going to be okay. And if you keep a lid on it, we'll teach you how to not blow your stack, then you can,
I'm like, blow the lid. I felt my inner animal come up to send me like, blow the lid, break the rules. I need to introduce myself, bro.
Oh!
That's
This
right.
is Danny Redbard, right?
Danny Redbard. And I've been hosting circles for 3 years, been sitting in circle for over 4 years. Well, this video might be years old by the time since 2017 I got initiated into my manhood, and I believe Brooke was in 2016.
Yeah.
And so we love this work, and since then we've been hosting circle for men and women, and so we sit in circles still twice a week at least, and it's important and powerful work to us. We host workshops on sexuality for men and for women, and we teach about this. Like in this course, we will be teaching about women's cycles, about women's monthly cycles. And so when we're talking to your parents about this kind of thing, Brooke said earlier that 98% of people out there don't know about women's cycles, or don't know properly what happens in ovulation and during the bleed. And we're going to talk about it like it's the seasons.
And why is that important to young men to understand that?
And how wild is it that women's cycles follow the moon? Anyway, and so there will be some spirit and some trippy layers added in throughout all this, because we do see it as all part of nature. That's why we're doing this work. Like, it's all natural, everything that goes on for me in my body. That's why none of it's right or wrong. It just simply is. And so if I can communicate it from neutrality and be completely okay with that inner animal in me that's like defiant, wants to break the rules, can I love myself in that energy? Can Brooke love me in that energy? As I simultaneously know that energy is within Brooke, and I know that energy is within all of you. I welcome you to be all of you. That's it, pure and simple. Yep.
Cool. Thank you for taking the time to listen to what we have to say for now, and looking forward to seeing you more in the future.